Hey, this is Sush,
And this is Ashley.
and this is We
We should
Should
pod
Pod
that.
That, episode 6.
That's right.
Yeah, right? Is it 6? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at us. 6 weeks,
I
man.
know. Consistency.
We should watch that with Ashley and Sushi. Feel the vibes, it's a night so lush.
Heck yeah. So today on the pod, we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. So for our looks, our focus review is going to be the new movie Him. Then for our look back, we're going to talk about Afterburn with Dave Bautista. Then for TV, we've got Alien Earth, Episode 7. The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, Episode 3. And then for our look ahead movies, we've got a bunch of stuff. We've got One Battle After Another, Eleanor the Great, Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, and Dead of Winter.
Oh my god.
And for TV, we got more Alien Earth, and we've got more Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. What do we have for wrestling, Sush?
Oh man, we got a lot of wrestling stuff going on. So, Wrestlepalooza happened this past weekend. Also, AEW All Out happened this past weekend. But in addition to that, we have the usual shows, SmackDown from last Friday, and also this past Monday's Raw.
Awesome. Cool. Well, let's get into it. So our focus review here today is for Him. A young athlete descends into a world of terror when he's invited to train with a legendary champion whose charisma curdles into something darker. That's per the IMDb description.
Cool.
So this one stars Marlon Wayans as the champion football dude. And we've got Tyreek Withers, who you may or may not know from the remake of I Know What You Did Last Summer. He was
It's not really, is it a remake or is it, it's more like a
reimagined.
continuation?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Continuation.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But he was pretty much the saving grace of that movie, so I was
Yeah.
excited to see it. We also have Julia Fox, and then we have like some random comedians in here. We got Tim Heidecker and Jim Jeffries. And this is a movie where it was really promoted heavily as, from the mind of Jordan Peele, from the but he didn't do it. He just produced it. It was written and directed by Justin Tipping, who I think is one other feature, which we haven't seen. And, it is a movie.
Hey, can I ask you something really quick? Because you're a
please.
person who knows about like the film industry and like that
Ooh.
type of stuff. So, just mainly for maybe for some people who don't know out there,
Yeah.
what what defines a producer and how does that differ from being, let's say, like a writer or director for like a work of either a TV show or like a movie?
That's a really good question. I mean, to tell you the truth, so I'm not an expert, I just love movies. But basically, a producer can be very involved. Like some producers could be someone who, like, for example, reads a book they like and they think that would make a good movie. So they buy the rights, they hire a director, and then they're in charge of a lot of the financial stuff as well as some of the creative.
Okay.
But a producer can also be like, in this case, I know that Jordan Peele's studio produced it. So it could be that he's a producer in that his studio owns it, he brought them on. But a
Yeah.
producer can also be like an associate producer. Please correct me, people out there, if I'm wrong. That can also be like something that's more of a credit, than something where you're doing a ton of work. So it can vary pretty dramatically.
Okay. So, but then in like, I guess the big overall aspect of it is that they somehow contribute to this work being created.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
And
in the
they
bigger
do-
picture rather than specifically like directing or writing like the story itself.
Right, exactly. So they're sort of the person above the director and writer and that
Cool.
kind of thing. The director and the writer are going to bring the like really specific vision and do all the managing of everyone below them and that kind of stuff. The producer's a little bit more financial and a little bit more logistics, but
Cool.
also has some control in the direction.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. And the reason I kind of brought that up was just because the way the trailers were,
Yes.
I watched the like 2 versions of the trailer before I realized that Jordan Peele didn't direct it himself.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference. You know, a lot of the times
Exactly.
in trailers, they're going to promote whatever gives them the most like prestige, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of why I wanted you to like focus in on that, because I feel
Yeah.
like it's been interesting seeing other people like kind of review and recap this. And one of the things that I've been noticing is that for the people who do share, their process at all, like, I've noticed that like a good number of them have brought up the fact that either it's very much focused on pitching like Jordan Peele's connection to
Yeah.
to the movie, to the point where some people think he actually wrote it.
Right.
And that is almost like affecting people's perception before even seeing what the movie is actually about. So I think that's
Yeah.
kind of cool. Well, I mean, I think that was kind of interesting for this specific movie. I know it
Yeah.
happens like all the time, but like I think what we're shown in the trailer is in line with the other movies that he has
Right.
actually written. So
Yeah. But what you get that's different is it can be a positive to promote that way, but it can be a negative because I know I went into this with much higher expectations.
Yes.
And I don't think it's good to go into this movie with high expectations. It's not a bad movie at all, but I think it's big on style and kind of a little low on substance. There's a lot of fun. I mean, the visual stuff is great. I don't know a ton about this director, but based on how great it looks, I wouldn't be surprised if he did music videos or like really cool short films, something like that. But it's highly stylized. There's some stuff about it that's cool. Like I really liked the way they focus so much on the physical brutality of sports, but also about like the mental brutality of it, how to be like a top performer, you have to sacrifice so much physically, emotionally, mentally. So I thought that was cool. But where it sort of lost me is just even though there's like it's a cool setting, I liked the actors, it looked great, I wasn't sure what it was about at times. It at first it seems kind of like, okay, we're just seeing his training with Marlon Wayans' character, just like the first day, the second day, he's learning a new thing each day, but it kind of takes a while for you to figure out what's going on, and when you do,
You
it
sort of
seems
question like if it's no, I get that feeling too. Like it really makes you question like what in this movie is real and what isn't, to the point where I feel like even early in the movie, like I know there was a point where we were like, wait, is that real or is that something that, is like a metaphor, like a visual metaphor, or like, or is it just a hallucination by the character? So like, I think that's a great point to bring up.
Yeah, it's so it both is about, I think part of it's a little hard to talk about without spoilers, because I will say that the thing that's happening behind the scenes in this movie that comes out at the end, I don't think it's necessary. I think the reality of what top performing athletes have to go through is interesting enough on its own without sort of like putting a hat on it. And that being said, I did like the ending. I just almost thought of it as two separate movies.
No, I know
I
what
just
you
was
mean.
like, oh, this is on a different level. This is the ending is just very I think I can say over the top.
Yeah.
And I love over-the-top stuff. That's my favorite. But it just didn't transition well from what was happening at the beginning to the end. It just was odd. I don't know.
Yeah.
What was your takeaway, Sush?
I think mine was like, I went into this obviously seeing the trailers and going in. I guess the best way to put it is I left with the same questions, asking kind of the same questions, and I don't know if they were really answered.
Oh, so like the stuff from the trailer that you were curious about, you didn't feel like you got the answers for?
Yeah, or like there's not really like an explanation of what's going on or like
Mhm.
why certain things are happening, or even like I think stylistic choices were very important in a very visual movie like this.
Yeah.
Like, I think this leads well into just how I rated it, so I might as well just go
Yeah,
ahead.
go for it.
I gave this an enjoyment rating of 3 and a quality rating of 2. And I think a lot of that 2 quality rating rests on the visuals and the acting from the 2 leads.
The positive part of the
Yeah, the positive part of the 2. And I think more of the rest of it, I think why I didn't give it more is obviously just the story. Yeah, it's like I was just saying, it didn't really make sense to me. There's still a lot more questions that I have than things that were answered. But I did give it an enjoyment rating of 3 because I feel like it was a little above average. I mean, I like Marlon Wayans in his roles that are outside of comedy, which for me, I think like the only one I could pull off the top of my head is, what was it?
Oh, Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
But I thought he was excellent in that, and I think there's been a lot of time since then where he hasn't been in as much of a serious role, and especially not as much of like a dramatic role. And I really think he does a great job in this movie playing a role like that. There's a lot going for it. He goes through a lot of different moods, so you really get like I really feel like you get the breadth of like what his talent as an actor through the whole role, this single role that he's playing in this movie. Tyreek Withers, like, I don't know. I just think he's very believable as this character.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I mean, it was just a great character, and I think he played it well. And, I don't know if it was down to just the writing, but I don't think it was. I think it was obviously just him playing it too, what that made it believable. Even though the story itself like wasn't very, solid.
Yeah. Yeah. For my enjoyment, I gave it a 2.5. And I would say, honestly, it's sort of like at certain points in the movie, I was like, hell yeah, this is a 4.5 moment. But overall, I just grew kind of a little frustrated as the story went along. Also, there were all these moments where people would say things that were supposed to be profound, but they were not,
Yeah.
or they weren't framed in a way to make them seem even relevant. That was bizarre. I think my confusion near the middle to the end of the movie is what led me to knock it down from a higher rating.
Gotcha.
And for quality, yeah, also a 2. I think that it just seemed a little undercooked in terms of the plot and everything.
Yeah.
I think you can still really enjoy this movie. Just go into it expecting it to be like a vibe you have to get on the level of. You have to just sort of watch and just sort of float along the surface.
Yeah, I think there's
Take it all
definitely
in.
enjoyable elements for like most people.
Yeah.
They can find a few things.
Absolutely. But just don't expect it to be Get Out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So our next movie is Afterburn. Afterburn is, according to IMDb, about after a massive solar flare destroys the Earth's eastern hemisphere. An emboldened treasure hunter for hire adventures to Europe to uncover the coveted Mona Lisa, only to learn the world needs a hero more than it needs a painting. It's like very dramatic. Basically, Dave Bautista is like a guy who steals stuff, and he gets asked to steal some big stuff, the Mona Lisa. And Samuel L. Jackson is like the president of England or the king of England and sends him to go steal the Mona Lisa. He pairs with Olga Kurylenko, and they're working on getting it back in this sort of post-solar flare world.
Mm.
So here's the thing about this movie. It's directed by someone that I love. JJ, aka JJ Loco Perry, is what he's known as. Is a really, really well-known and respected stuntman turned second unit director turned director. He's in the first Mortal Kombat doing some stuff. He's been in like all of the action movies you've seen over the last 20 years in one way or another. And he's very funny, very interesting guy. I liked his last movie that was with Dave Bautista, The Killing Game. I think this one's like, it just feels more like a B movie. So basically, it's just sort of post-apocalypse-y, but not super post-apocalypse. Like, you don't quite know the rules of the world, and it's just Dave Bautista kicking ass and stealing things, you know? It's got Daniel Bernhardt, which I know I've talked about at least once on this podcast, who is like another one of those guys who's been in every action movie you've seen since, you know, Bloodsport 2. He's in all the 87-11 John Wick movies and stuff like that. And yeah, there's some cool fight scenes. There's some interesting stuff stylistically. The main weird thing about this movie is the score. It's like a score in a 90s movie. Like there's like weird guitar solos when things are happening. It's very dramatic. But yeah, overall, not a super memorable movie. I don't know. What do you think, Sush?
I think that after reading up a little bit on how like production went with this movie, it makes a lot of sense that it kind of felt the way it did.
Oh, tell me.
So one of the funny things is that the actor that was initially reported having entered negotiations to star in this movie was Gerard Butler.
Oh, that makes so much sense. This is a January Jerry Butts movie.
It totally is. And it, like
Yeah.
that makes a lot more sense now, I think, in terms of like why this was kind of like why it was like a kind of end of the world or like, well, I think Gerard Butler actually, which is kind of funny, is more of like a end of world scenario guy. And
Oh,
he's trying to
yeah.
prevent the end of the world, or he's dealing with the consequence, just trying to like survive, whatever epic tragedy is occurring that's ending most of like civilization. Uh,
Geostorm.
yeah, like that, or like Greenland or something.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like maybe that's why he turned this down, or like why it didn't end up working out. Maybe because some will of the universe decided that he couldn't be in an actual movie that took place in in a post-apocalyptic world. Like
We
it
should have
had to be
done the
him. Like
pre-apocalypse.
right,
Not the
exactly.
post-apocalypse,
Or
just the pre.
going into inter-apocalypse.
No inter-apocalypse for Jerry Butts. Only
Well,
pre-apocalypse.
no, he's fine with the inter-apocalypse. I guess that
Oh,
that still
yeah,
counts
yeah.
because he's like, Greenland was kind of that. He's trying to escape and like make it out of there and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Oh,
But
my God.
I mean, anyway, enough of like getting sidetracked by Gerard
I
Butler.
always want to talk about Gerard Butler. He is like the king of the movie that you're like, I have the stomach flu. What should I watch? I guess I'll
Oh
watch
my
this.
God.
Or like it's a Monday in January or February. What's the most exciting thing playing?
Yeah. It's
That's your,
just
and he, does a solid job. He does the same thing he does in every movie, but he does it great.
yeah. And I think okay, so I mean, here's the thing. Like I love Batista as an actor.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I think he's generally like pretty entertaining in whatever kind of role he gets thrown into. And he does a pretty good job. Like I'm pretty surprised a lot of the time.
Oh yeah.
Because he definitely doesn't like if you didn't already know that he was a wrestler, you could have easily mistaken him for just like some bodybuilder who like decided to get into, you know, like, or like some just
Yeah.
big dude who like decided to do acting. But,
Hmm.
you know, anyway, yeah, he wasn't bad at it. I think it's like it
I
makes a
thought he
lot
was
more.
great.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot more sense now because I know initially when I saw this, I was kind of like, this feels like it could have been a streaming movie,
Hmm.
but it makes a lot more sense when you think about a Gerard Butler January movie because it's a bit bigger
Yeah.
than most streaming budgets. Like this would have to be a Netflix if it came out. Like I don't
Hmm.
know if it could be, well, maybe Amazon Prime, but like they'd have to shove some crazy ads in there, like to make it worth it for them, you know? Because I don't know if they think Batista sells like that yet, unless they're doing like one of those like kid comedies with him.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. I think that the story was poo poo. Like it was ass. Like I don't know what else to say about it.
Guys, I'm going to be honest. I fell asleep a little bit.
That's the thing. It's like I mean like this was during the daytime. I was like fully alert, and I remember at certain points I was just looking over at my phone. Now, if Dave Batista and like some crazy ass movie like this is not capturing my attention at every moment, then it can't possibly be that good. Cause like,
Mm.
I mean, I usually will just like, it had to have been like instances where I feel like the story was dragging on if I was gonna look away for a moment, like, 'cause it didn't
Yeah.
make any sense to me. There were definitely like certain parts I think more in the middle of the movie that were like that. But yeah, I didn't think it was horrible. I think special effects were good. Hand-to-hand
Hmm.
combat,
Yeah.
weapon stuff,
Oh,
all
hand-to-hand
that
combat was
action stuff was
great.
awesome.
It
Like
was so
action stuff
good.
was cool, but it was very also paint by numbers action type stuff
Yeah.
that you've seen. I think one of the good things about this movie is that Batista gets some great one-liners, even though I can't pull any off the top of my head. I just remember that there were some good ones.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of the problem. Like the movie itself is not that memorable, but I remember the existence of good one-liners.
Yeah. And, and it's just it's kind of a bummer. I feel like because I'm so rooting for JJ Perry. I actually once had a dream that I got hired as his assistant, and it was the best job I ever had. So that's my association with JJ
Yeah.
Perry. I know he can make better stuff, and Killer's Game is a fun one to check out if you want to see more of what he
Yeah,
can do.
that
That or
makes
Day
sense.
Shift, which was great. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, so. I for my enjoyment rating, I gave it a 2.5. And for quality, I gave it a 2. But again, like Sush was saying, Batista's doing way more than he needs to in a movie like this. He
Yeah,
really sells it. Everyone seems like they're having a good time. It just, it's just not the
yeah.
best
I
out
feel like I gave it a 2 for enjoyment and 2 for quality. I feel like it definitely was just like everybody kind of phoned it in,
there. Mm,
but I don't think they were horrible. I just feel like you could tell that, they knew this wasn't going to be
you
like a new
think so?
franchise for them. And
Maybe.
so like everybody just kind of delivered maybe some characters that they've already delivered in the past. Because that Samuel L. Jackson character initially made me feel like there's definitely like some elements of like other movies he's been in
Yeah.
where he's like playing some boss guy. I think Triple X is the one that it kind of made me think of
Oh,
when he was like
dang.
the guy
Yeah.
who leads the CIA or whatever the Triple X program in the
Hmm.
CIA. And so like yeah, it's like that. And then Batista, we've seen him in some like, B action movies where he plays like a similar character. I do think that he gets better one-liners in this one than other ones, but like I said, the quality of the movie overall, I think just makes me not remember this is a very forgettable movie.
Maybe it was a great movie, but it just gave us like amnesia,
It could be that, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right. So moving on, we've got our TV review to talk about. The first one is Alien Earth, episode 7. So in this one, we start with slightly somehow convincing Smee to help move Arthur's body, which is being face hugged, to the beach where he's supposed to meet Morrow. They are very freaked out by the face hugger. It's kind of a crazy scene to see these adult children dragging a face hugger body to the beach. Then what happens, unfortunately, is Arthur wakes up and he's trying to get them to tell him what's going on. He seems like he's fine after they get the face hugger off, and it's just like, guys, you seem worried. You can tell me the truth, what's happening. And then, chest burster bursts out of his chest and then runs away into like nature. It's just gone.
That's great.
Yeah. So then we go back in and we see what's going on with Wendy. She is really freaked out about Isaac's death and like the whole fact that the synths can die, which is something that I believe she was explicitly told wasn't possible, if not they
Mm.
did that. And she finally agrees now with Hermit that they should get out and leave. But she's just not ready to go on her own. She wants to make sure they get the other synths as well. So they go and Nibs agrees, but Curly is basically still brainwashed. She says that this is the best place she's ever been, which is a little troubling. Wendy frees her xenomorph friend, and it follows her basically. It gets out while they're escaping, and she communicates with it and gets it to kill people who basically.
So rad.
It's really cool, guys. It's just like, oh, I've got a xenomorph for that. Okay, let me
Oh
call
my
them
God.
out. So then finally, after all these conflicts and, other things going on, they get to the boat, and Siberian corners the group along with the other Prodigy soldiers that are there. And Nibs freaks out. Nib freaks out and starts ripping Siberian's face like in half. And then basically Wendy's brother is like, oh my God, what's happening? And shoots Nibs. And Wendy's freaked out. And that's our episode. So a lot going on.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Really good, really, really good acting in this one from Smee and Slightly. It's so insane to see children in these strong adult bodies trying to figure out what's happening.
Oh yeah.
I think this is the episode where they try to feed Arthur while
Oh
he's
my
still...
God. That's what I was about to talk about. I was about to say. So I don't know if other people are like this, but I find like uncomfortable moments in shows like this to be pretty comedic. But beyond that, in this episode, which there I feel was definitely a lot of because of, xenomorph stuff. Like, what else? The whole Smee and Slightly moving Arthur thing and like trying to like slightly trying to like give him water while the face hugger's on his face, and obviously like the face hugger's like straight down his throat, so like he thinks the face hugger is probably reacting in a way where it thinks like it's being attacked or something, so it tightens up the grip. So it really is just making it worse, but it's hilarious because they're kids and like you think that's how kids are thinking. So but yeah, like there's just so much about this episode that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, Nibs is like typical crazy Nibs, and I think it just proves to you that like this whole thing about brainwashing her may have in fact made things worse.
Right.
It's like, yeah, like she got brainwashed. Wendy basically like informs her that like she has been brainwashed. So
Crazy.
it almost puts her in this state where she just doesn't care. Like she doesn't, I guess, like assumes that there's really no meaning or like to anything because they can just do this stuff. So I don't know. I feel like that's what like leads her to kind of be zoned out enough to just uh lob off some dude's lower like jaw.
Yeah.
It's great, man. I love this show more and more. I know there's a lot of hardcore Alien fans that have, felt questionable about the show, but I love this angle where it's like
I do too.
that I thought it was just going to be another situation where it's like aliens are fucking up Earth. It needs to be saved, and these kids are going to save, but it's not. It's basically making us face like the whole idea of like, the Alien franchise as a whole, and like, are we the enemies? These kids that are pretty much just innocent, thrown into these bodies with considerably more physical power than they've ever had previously, still end up at these conclusions that these aliens are not killing for no reason, and that like there's no, this concept that there's no way to communicate with them, but obviously there is because they're capable of doing this. So I think it's a cool idea. I know that people who are maybe more close to the material and like the older movies may have an issue with it, but I think it's a really cool idea to explore, and it's been working out awesome.
Really just like rich stuff for drama. Like there's just so much going on. And I actually didn't put in the synopsis, but there's kind of a fun Timothy Oliphant moment where his character Hirsch sees what Smee and Slightly are doing as they're trying to bring the body out, and they stop and freeze like they've been caught in the act, and he just said, well, you got to keep going or just press this button. He like helps them and lets them go because he is so casual about it, because he's like, well, we're just going to catch them later. No big deal.
Yeah.
He's like, let me just call the rest of the people who are going to attack
Right.
go in and get them. But there's something cool there, because you see like the weird childish humanity. You see this guy who's like being face hugged, and then Timothy Oliphant's just very cool about it.
Yeah.
So it really, I mean, I continue to really enjoy this episode, this season.
Yeah.
Hope there's another one. I don't know if they've announced that yet.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
But there's a lot of cool stuff going on here.
What else we got on TV?
We've got The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. So this is our first time reviewing it. We're going to start on the most recent episode, which is episode 3. But we're going to do a separate short pod just about the first 2. So if you're caught up, we've got now Daryl and Carol. Again, these just a brief synopsis of what we missed. So they started in England. They tried to get off. They were on a boat. They wound up in Spain. They saw a couple who needed to be rescued. When they rescued the couple, Daryl ended up killing the people who were trying to take that couple away. And then they lead Carol and Daryl to their little city. So just picking up for this episode, Guillermo, who is like the guy who's going to be the new king, he's like sort of the, I guess, I mean, you could think of him more like a gang leader in a way. But he basically, it starts with him storming through the town with his men, and he is super mad because he realizes that several of his men have gone missing. So he questions, basically, he goes up to Fede, who's the mayor of the town, and he's like, hey, are you guys still down with our whole protection thing? Because when I was here in the last episode, Some old man was screaming at me. And then Carol was saying she didn't like our whole like woman raffle. And now my guys are missing. So what's going on? Uh,
Woman raffle.
yeah, basically that's what it is.
Oh my god.
And Fede just tries to or Fed tries to like calm him down as like, we'll help you, we'll figure it out. But he seems to, or at least it's implied, I believe, seems to suspect the Americans might be behind it. So Guillermo orders an investigation and says the Americans have to leave. So then, meanwhile, we're at Antonio's home. So Antonio is the father of Justina, the girl in the couple that Carol and Daryl saved. I love saying Carol and Daryl. This is
Yeah, Curl and Durl.
Carl and Daryl. So Carl and Daryl are staying at Antonio's, and he and Carol have a little chemistry.
Yeah.
So he tells Carol that, he admires her courage for being outspoken, at the town dinner about the woman raffle, but that, she upset the town. So they're sort of talking, and then Daryl, basically all he cares about is fixing the boat. But Carol is already just like really invested in the people of this town and like justice for the women. She's really worried about Alba, the girl who was chosen by the lottery to be given to these mafia type dudes. And so basically she doesn't know what to do. Justina's also like feels guilty about it, but Roberto, her partner, says they can't intervene and they just have to focus on the escape. So they're working on that. And then later on, Carol, she hears screams from like another building on the Antonio's property. She goes out and she finds that he's actually watching a movie. And I thought this was so cool. So Antonio's a real like film guy, and he's like risked a lot to get a projector and to collect movies because he thinks that cinema will be, after this horrible time they're living in with the walkers, like cinema can connect them to like what civilization was like before and what it got you in the future. And they have a nice little moment. They're cute together. Then we've got Daryl and Roberto. In their effort to repair the boat, they go to a lighthouse to recruit an old friend of Roberto's who is amazing. So she's this badass, like former cruise ship captain, probably in her maybe 60s or so, maybe 50s, 60s. And she also hates the mafia type dudes. And she agrees to help them in exchange for gunpowder. Really fun moment. She super duper shocks Daryl because she's in like a poly relationship with these two young guys who live at the lighthouse with her. It was very cute. Then later, so Daryl and Roberto, they go to salvage a rudder from a wreck because I guess you can't repair the rudder on their boat. So while they're out there, something creepy happens, and a swarm of like zombies that have been underwater, they start coming out and attacking them.
Oh yeah, and around the area too, out of like
Yeah.
random boats and like bushes.
Just like everywhere.
Yeah, it's like what you guys didn't want to move earlier, like it wasn't loud enough, and like you didn't smell the live meat walking past you.
That's okay. There's a little bit of discrepancies in our waters.
Well, yeah.
There always is. But so they save it. Roberto goes to get the rudder, and he's sort of like in harm's way. Daryl saves him. And then back in town, Antonio is tending to Carol's wound, and they sort of open up. He had a wife and a son who died, and they sort of talk about family. And it's pretty cool. Then meanwhile, Justina, so she is Fed's, I think, niece, I believe.
Yeah.
She's related to him. So then they also show that she is at his property, and someone at the property says, hey, why don't you go get like something in a bar of chocolate from Fed's office? So she goes in and he has like a secret cabinet where he keeps all the good stuff. And in it, she ends up finding this like hidden drawer. And it's a bunch of the sort of strips of fabric with names on them that are used in the woman raffle. They basically put this piece of fabric with each girl's name onto pigs, and then they have a pig race. God, they really have to make this humiliating for the women and have it pig race as well. That's pretty
Yeah.
ridiculous. So she finds all of them, and they all have her name. And she comes to the realization that he's been taking her name out of the lady raffle this whole time. And she's feeling this like crushing guilt, basically. So Carol comforts her, but she can't let it go.
Mm.
And then later that night, Carol and Antonio start realizing, oh my God, Justina, I bet she volunteered in Alba's place. So they rush off to try to stop it. But as they get there, they see her being taken away with another woman who's there too. I guess she's the queen to be.
Yeah. Well,
And
I think she is the queen.
I think she is the queen. That's right. They're getting taken away, and Carol just like breaks down and then promises that she won't let this be the end of it.
Cool.
So yeah, Carol's working through some stuff, and it's pretty cool to see like her like nurturing kind of tendencies come out,
Yeah.
but also her badassness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think of the episode, Sush?
I think there are definitely some points in it where kind of dragged, but I feel like that has been a tendency with the main Walking Dead show and all of these spin-offs pretty much since the third season or so.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes these zombie shows or movies kind of have to do that because otherwise it doesn't build up enough time between when you feel any sense of dread. Like, it doesn't give you time to reset.
Yeah.
So it makes sense in a way, but I think it's still, especially in like a TV series like this, they have an ability to kind of fill the rest of the time with things that are quality, and I feel like this show does do a good job of that. The acting's solid. As far as like the actors and I guess the overall effects stuff, creature effects type stuff, that's always great. My, I guess, issue with this show, and we were talking about this, is like more on the costume side.
Yeah.
I don't understand why these types of towns in the Walking Dead universe that are supposed to be kind of in the future or in like an alternative present look like they're taking place back in like the 16 to 1800s or whatever, you know? Like, it is kind of funny. I think I've noticed this in the past. I do joke about that a little bit, especially when I was watching. Like, I get when Rick wears like a flannel and like jeans because he's like a dude who, you know, he was a cop, and that's probably his weekend wear. But I don't understand like the whole making, I guess, more foreign places, at least in terms of like the people who maybe are producing the show.
Right.
They always dramatize it so much by like setting it. It's like a very romantic type of decision that they've made to like zero in on. And I'm like, you know, that kind of makes me roll my eyes. Some of the general ideas of like what society has become after, especially this far into the zombie apocalypse. I understand like people being kind of crazy at the beginning of it, but like we're supposed to believe that this is at least like a decade or something after those events. So it's like, why aren't people, I guess, for lack of a better word, more normal in like their customs that they've created? None of this stuff is like rooted in old world religion. These things are just like, yeah, and like I guess whenever you start thinking about it that way, then it kind of makes you not feel like this is really written or thought of thoroughly. But at least like the acting talent is there,
Oh,
and
the
like,
acting's great in all these.
yeah, I mean it's a zombie thing, you know. I feel like one of the problems with The Walking Dead isn't necessarily that. I don't think it's like bad overall at all. I think the problem is it was too much of a hit too early on.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the people who were writing this knew it was going to go for a while because there was never any intention to, you know, like the comic was still ongoing at the time when they first started this. So it's not like there was a definitive end in the material it was based off of. And also, I don't know, they've just changed so much of it. It's like with a lot of comic book adaptation stuff, but I'm just glad that this spin-off is still good. Because some of them have been like kind of poo-poo and whatever.
I think they could speed it up. That is a really good point. That, like, when I was writing the synopsis, I was
Yeah.
oh, they could have. They didn't need a whole episode for all this.
Yeah, and there's like more I'll talk about, I think, when we do the bonus episode about like some other things that I kind of nitpick about a show like this, but just very much like creative decisions that I don't know if were really well thought out or if it was brought in front of others. I guess is the best way to put it. Some of these decisions feel very unilateral. I ask myself, why wouldn't somebody at least question this a little bit? So that's where I'm at with the show.
Yeah.
I like the acting. I think the story is interesting. Like first of all, for them to even end up in Europe.
It was so funny that they thought they were going to make it to the U.S. and then they're like, oh shit, it's Spain.
Yeah, I know. I also, you know.
I thought that was an interesting angle. But yeah, I think that there's places to go, but it's just such a, it is a slower show. And I saw someone online saying, like, why is this season like The Three Amigos, which is this movie from, remember that one from the 80s?
Yeah.
Had, like, Martin Short.
Yep.
Steve Martin. And they're basically three guys in, like, 1920s silent movie actors who get hired by a small Mexican town to scare off the bad guys.
Oh my God.
And that's sort of what's going on here.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
I know. Oy. Well, let's see. So for look ahead, what we're planning to watch this week, we've got quite a few movies here. So we've got One Battle After Another, which is the Paul Thomas Anderson movie with Leo DiCaprio, where he's like a former revolutionary with a daughter. That's mostly what we know about it. Eleanor the Great, which is a movie which will be great for our GCU, Geriatric Cinematic Universe, about a nice old lady who moves to New York and various things happen. Then we've got Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie.
Which is just one that I think we zeroed in on because most of the voice cast, or at least I don't know if it's just the voice cast or they're live act. I think some of them are live action, some of them are voice. But anyway, it's a lot of like previous SNL cast members that we like. So yeah, that's mainly what brought us to that. Also, we're not afraid of seeing kids' movies. We don't have a problem with that. Yeah.
So and then the last one is Dead of Winter with Emma Thompson. She sees something nefarious happening in a cold, wintry place and tries to rescue a girl. And that's all I know from the trailer, but it looks fun.
What else we got?
So then we've got for TV, Alien Earth finale, and then some more Daryl Dixon. We've got episode 4 coming up, as well as that bonus episode on 1 and 2.
Cool. All right. With that said, I'm going to move on to Oh No, Ooh Yeah, for wrestling news and drama. So, yeah, I mean, not like this isn't the usual thing, but there's a lot to get through. And I'm going to try to power through as fast as possible. Feel free to interject at any point if you have anything to say.
I shall.
All right. Let's actually start off with AEW All Out.
Yay.
That took place on September 20th on Saturday in Toronto, Ontario. I just want to say I wanted to do a longer recap of all the matches and everything, but after working on the outline and realizing how much WWE stuff needed to be covered, I shortened this one basically to just some highlights. But I think overall, I definitely preferred this event over Wrestlepalooza, mostly because I find AEW storylines are a bit more fleshed out, like because the events are more spread out. Even the losses, like I wasn't a fan of, like Tony Storm losing the Women's World Championship or Riho losing to Mercedes Moné, at least made sense in either a storyline, basis or like because AEW seems to be the more quote fair and equitable, company and wants to give everybody who is deserving and loyal to the company, it sticks with the company, like the opportunities that they expect. So, with that said, I'm just going to move on to some highlights. For favorite match, I had the Kazuchika Okada versus Konosuke Takeshita versus Mascara Dorada match. Man, this was like just a great showcase of some of the best talent from like Japanese and Mexican pro wrestling.
So cool. It
And
makes me want to watch more of both, get
yeah.
more like non-American wrestling going on.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is because like the way that the storylines are for for wrestling in like both of these countries is much more about like spirit, I would say,
Oh,
like
okay.
so
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it lends to like more of a like technical or pure wrestling kind of match. There's way less hijinks. I mean, it's not like there
Yeah.
isn't, but like, you know, the it's more about skill. It's more,
You don't have the vision showing up.
yeah, I mean,
Smashing chairs
yeah,
on heads.
exactly. But anyway, yeah, and I just want to say, like, overall, as somebody who mostly watched wrestling through the Attitude Era in WWE, and then maybe like the few, like a couple years prior to the COVID pandemic, I love seeing all this ex-WWE talent from those times that I watched, like, still getting the same or even more love, like, performing. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, like, that storyline has been cool. Mercedes Moné doing her belt collector thing, even though I'm not a huge fan of that character, I think it's interesting to be experiencing the success at the level that she has and kind of doing some more, I guess, like creative storyline things that involve other wrestling promotions. I know that some people zero in on like it's kind of cheap that you have somebody who's such a big star going to these promotions, but I think it works in both ways, like they get attention for this stuff too, so I don't think it's bad. And then like Moxley leading Death Risers has like been really entertaining because I don't know. I think I'm watching more AEW because of it, all these reasons, and I'm okay with that because I feel like I don't know. WWE can't really do anything for talent like this because they're corporate now. I don't know if they would sign some of this talent either because of age or just because of them having stronger political leanings or anything like that. So I think it's cool that we get to see him and AEW be like really successful. Just as a quick jab, and while Triple H was trying to sell us on how many surprises we were gonna have at Wrestlepalooza, which ended up feeling like zero. All the surprises seem to be all out. Like we had the return of Beth Phoenix / Copeland, return of Pac, return of Jack Perry, Jungle Boy, and him reuniting with Luchasaurus. So it's like, yeah, there was a lot happening that I was really hyped about.
Yeah, it was great. It was so good.
Yeah, and it's almost like I'm getting to the point where I really think that if I continue to watch, because I'm now watching like the most wrestling I have in a long time. I'm watching both of the two main shows like on my, like I'll watch the AEW stuff on my own for the most part, but I will drag you, like Ashley know,
You're
it's
not
like,
dragging me.
but I'm
I
saying
love
like
it.
I'll bring you into the episodes that I'm, really enjoying. But yeah, I might have to change my coverage over to them if I think the next PLE is like how I feel about Wrestlepalooza, and you'll find out about that very soon because yeah, we're gonna get to that pretty quickly.
Oh, Wrestlepalooza.
Mainly because SmackDown this past Friday was not really that exciting. Let's go move on with that. It's on the 19th in Toledo, Ohio for promos and drama. Yeah, it's just like a weird start. Michael Cole says that he has to go backstage to meet up with Brock Lesnar for an interview or something like that. But in the process of walking off, Brock enters the ring, and then for some reason he just tries to attack Michael Cole, chases him into the ring. Corey Graves comes out to try to help him, and then it ends up taking a couple FIs for interfering. Then he just grabs the camera and screams into the camera that he's coming after Cena. He's coming for blood. And we get a short backstage moment where Brock encounters Paul Heyman with the bronze and just pats dude on the chest. It's just like, we should talk. So basically just setting up an entrance for Saturday with Paul Heyman. But I think Michael Cole should get an award for this ridiculously overdramatic response to the situation when we came back from the commercial. Oh my God. But then Miz fills in for Corey for the rest of the commentary.
Yeah.
We get this weird moment where we have backstage stuff with the Street Profits and B-Fab. Like, we're supposed to believe they're not getting along just because they've been losing? I don't think that anybody ever felt that, but...
Right.
So, whatever. B-Fab's trying to give him a pep talk to, get it together or whatever. But then Meechin comes in and interrupts her and lets her know about their upcoming tag match.
I don't know. I gotta find out about B-Fab's crazy earrings, though. It's like her whole.
Oh
ear
yeah,
is
it's like a
covered in
shield thing in it.
silver.
Yeah.
That thing is cool. I'm gonna be
It's
looking
wild.
that up later.
But anyway, so after B-Fab walks off, the Street Profits are talking. They reconcile, even though they really didn't have any beef to begin with. And they even say that too. But then there's this moment where Uncle Howdy comes out and tries to get in Dawkins' head. Like right after Montez walks away. But Montez is right there. He comes right back and attacks him. But then Eric Rowan comes out and attacks this. So it's setting up a tag team match between, Wyatt Six again and Street Profits. So
We're really pushing them lately. But sort of.
Kinda. I mean, it's fine. It's getting better. At least it wasn't as boring as it was before.
Yeah.
So whatever. Other things, the fans love R-Truth and Cody Rhodes, so I guess WWE just felt like they would be the least cringy superstars to do all these stupid spots and ads for the ESPN app. Literally, you have R-Truth delivering app training.
It's
giving you
terrible.
step-by-step instructions, like we don't know how to look up an app in the App Store or something. I don't know. I don't think that's the concern for most people.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that for now. Anyway, another week, another Nia Jax promo reminder. She comes out and insults Tiffy and Jade. Tiffy interrupts, but is followed by Jade interrupting her and just running straight into the ring for Nia. Nick Aldis comes out to control the situation, which is basically just a setup for a triple threat match for them for the WWE Women's Championship this coming Friday. What else? Oh, hey guys, Solo Sikoa and his MFTs are still alive.
Oh.
We get another boring video where he basically tries to be all intimidating and highlights Tonga Loa, basically just reading off dude's bio. Okay.
It was weird.
When are you guys gonna wrestle again?
I know.
You haven't been around for weeks.
I just Solo's funny. Let him be funny.
Yeah, I don't think he's intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre have a contract signing for their upcoming match at Wrestlepalooza, which is obviously just a setup for a brawl. I didn't really get Drew's angle on this promo because he insults Cody for doing whatever's necessary to please the TKO shareholders and get his name in a marquee. But isn't this basically what Drew's working towards? Like, what does he think he's gonna do when he reaches the top? Like, try to be Stone Cold or something? Like, it's been done before. So I don't know if it's that cool or interesting. Anyway, I've been watching WWE long enough to know that sometimes heels will get so over with fans that they start losing their edge. But I'm not sure if they could ever do this with Drew's current character, nor do I know if I'd want them to, since he feels like way better as a pure heel. Like, what is this shit that he's doing? I don't know. He's trying to say that he's being nice, but it's like, who cares? Like, why do you want to be nice? Like,
Two-sided thing that doesn't really work for me in wrestling a lot of the time, because I think it's like wrestling is like pure entertainment.
Exactly. We don't need the nuance. Like,
no nuance, please.
I mean, if you want to do storylines, we need more than like 2 weeks before every PLE. Okay. Anyway, moving on to the matches. We had the women's tag team championship match between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss and Chelsea Green and Alba Fire. Why didn't these tag teams get booked for Wrestlepalooza?
I know.
No idea, but here we are. Charlotte's in-ring gear is steadily improving. I think she looked great in athletic wear when she arrived at the venue earlier. And I know we've mentioned that her gear heading in a similar direction and style, which is working for her, I think.
Yeah, I think it looks great. It's sort of like she's got such an amazing, powerful body. And so it's always cool when they find gear that like shows it off in the right way or something.
Yeah, I mean, it sells the character better. I think like she is naturally an athlete, so like I don't think she needs to be as we get it. Like she's trying to do a take on her dad's, whole character, but I think she's made it so much on her own at this point.
Yeah.
That she doesn't need to be that like a take on somebody else's character anymore. She can be her own, person. Anyway, and then, well, now we know, but I was wondering what was up with Piper Niven.
I love Piper. They're saying it. They don't know what the injury is from what they've said so far, but they're saying it could be career ending. Yeah. And I really hope not, because I think she's so funny, and she brings a lot. I just would be really sad if that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, Charlotte.
She could be a great coach, entertaining coach or something if that happens. But God, I hope not.
But Charlotte Flair and Alexa retained. Let's see, what else? Fraxium. We had Fraxium versus Division's Bronze, a.k.a. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. It's just hilarious that the Bronze attack Fraxium when they're in the middle of their entrance, just so Paul Heyman gets an opportunity to cut a promo about the Wrestlepalooza match. And then it gets interrupted by high-flying attacks from Fraxium. Nick Aldis comes out and tells Paul Heyman that the Bronze have to finish their match with Fraxium. I'm like, all right, sure. I thought this match was supposed to happen anyway, so what? We're just assuming the Bronze weren't going to take part in the match? I don't think they're that worried about Fraxium.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If this match is supposed to prove some kind of point ahead of WrestlePalooza, I'm not sure if it was really that successful. I mean, Fraxium were still a problem for the Bronze, so if anything, it made me feel less confident that they'd win against the Usos. After we cut to a great promo from the Usos that were already in Indy with their old tag team Uso Penitentiary line. Yeah, that was cool.
I just love those two together. I just love when they get to be fun, and I don't know. They have a great energy that you don't see with a lot of other tag teams, I feel like.
Yeah.
They're brothers, for crying out loud.
Right. We got a U.S. title open challenge match from Carmelo Hayes versus Sami Zayn. I don't know. Is it just me, or is this U.S. title open challenge becoming a side quest for wrestlers in WWE that that they want to push, but like don't really have a good plan for. Because I feel like it's become like the waiting room for people who are trying to become main eventers. It sucks because the matches since the return of the U.S. title open challenge have been pretty solid, but I feel like they don't get the same amount of attention because Sammy is just so happy to be the dude to give people an opportunity and like, I don't know.
Sammy is such a good egg. Like he just, I love it, and I think that it's cool because his character seems just so
Yeah.
genuine, but it's still broad and entertaining, you know.
Mhm.
And obviously, I love his what is it, the haluva kick? It
Yeah.
always cracks me up.
All right, moving on to Wrestlepalooza in
Wrestlepalooza.
Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm so glad I don't have to say Wrestlepalooza anymore for at least a year after this podcast episode. Anyway, my big general note on this PLE was that it was nice to have Pat McAfee back on commentary, even was only for a moment. I feel like he's always like a good representation for what fan energy is at the announce desk. So it's great because I love how he's always like either yeeting with the crowd or like he just has the energy of like actual fans. So it's cool. I like seeing that reflected. I think that's his biggest selling point as a commentator. Like it's definitely not knowing stats or anything like that, but I think he is good at making it fun. All right, let's get into the matches. Cena versus Lesnar. We do get our Heyman introduction for Brock Lesnar for the first time in forever. I personally see this as a setup for the Vision to unravel. But knowing WWE, they're probably going to be dragging this out for a while because they just registered the trademark for the name. So the fans have been speculating that Braun Breaker was going to turn babyface for a while, and even though it hasn't happened yet, I think it's coming, and I think like this might set up for like in the long run, like the reason why they split because Heyman seems to be closer to Brock than, maybe Seth.
Braun needs some Braun number. I don't know. I'm going to say Braun number 1. Breaking just needs more time. He's just so entertaining. I love it. So fingers crossed.
And I don't know. I just feel like WWE is like trying to shit on Cena's retirement. Like we went from a bad heel turn to him cutting promos to apologize on behalf of the WWE, and then having his retirement match at Saturday night's main event that like isn't even in his hometown. So it's like, I don't know. But I'm going to make sure to support Cena's movie career for at least a year just because I hate what WWE is doing with this retirement.
I know. I mean, it's a shame because they had to have known he was coming back. They must have had time to come up with some more entertaining plot lines,
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe he just was like, oh, a movie got canceled. I can come back. I don't know what the deal is, but he's just such a talent and he's so entertaining. And it's a shame to see him not get what you would want for like a legend like that.
Yeah, I don't know about the inner workings of TKO, but I can't imagine that it's one of those companies where their biggest investors are people who actually know anything about the product. So I just feel like maybe they're being too transparent about like what's happening with like, or like too detailed about like what's happening in the business, because I don't know if like people need, you know what I mean? Like people who don't care about the end product and just want to make money. I don't know if they really need to know that many details other than like, we're doing a good job here because of the numbers, which I don't know. I feel like now at this point in time where we're recording the podcast, there's already been the report that AJ Styles is going to have a match with John Cena before, at the end of his retirement run. So at least we got something that is more fan driven. So, I mean, they have to listen to, and that's what I mean. I feel like they just don't need to be as like upfront with whatever. If it's being driven by like the shareholders. I just don't think that like, they need to get that detailed with the the storylines, like, because I think like the people look too much into it, and then they may not be as like informed because they're operating off of like research, not experiencing the product over the stretch of time. But anyway, moving on. We had Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed versus the Usos with special guest referee LA Knight.
It was a fun one.
Oh my God! So here we go. Now WWE is trying to convince us that the Browns are somehow as good as arguably one of the best tag teams of all time in the company. Like, this win didn't even really require any real hijinks from the Browns or LA Knights, so we're supposed to just believe that they're really that good? Like, I don't know. Like, I can't believe it. It just, if that's what they're trying to do, I'm not sold on it. That's all.
That's a really great point because, like, I liked this match, but I liked it because of the Usos and because of LA Knight. Like, the Browns to me were just like, yeah, they were there. I don't know. They're just not as. I think they're great individually.
Exactly. I feel like they're,
They
yeah.
don't seem like they match up well for things like that.
Right. They don't necessarily like, complement each other.
Yeah.
They're just two individually strong wrestlers. But I do, yeah, like, I think my thing with them, or like my issue with them, is that they're very similar. And I get that. Like,
Yeah.
if you're trying to like create this, faction, and the, I guess, for lack of a better word, henchman base of it is going to be two guys, then I guess you just want two guys that are like this, and you kind of want them to be similar names. So I guess in a way it makes sense creatively if you look at it that way, but like, yeah, I just don't think like they're anywhere near as cohesive as like the Usos are. And that's like both, I don't think they've had the time to even potentially do something like that, nor do I ever think they would actually get to that point. I don't know. There's just something to be said about like a duo that's actual brothers.
It's
I don't
the
know.
coolest.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. We have the WWE Women's World Championship match between Stephanie Vaquer versus Io Sky. So this is pretty much the top match of the PLE. Like, a lot of great offense, counters, and transitions. I've known Vaquer had an impressive run in New Japan and NXT, but I feel like this is the first time I've really seen it. Since it wasn't being diluted, like, I feel like she's had a lot of matches where there's more than one opponent for her. Or,
That's true. Yeah.
this is the first time where I feel like it's been one-on-one, so we really got to see her like showcase all of her moves and everything. And we were distracted by like something else going on, or like another wrestler, or wrestlers like having to come in. But it was hard fought, and like more importantly for me, it was believable for a championship win for Vaquer. Like, I want to say more, but like WWE, there's so much more to criticize lately, so I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, let's move on. AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. I mean, it's a cute match. Like, I don't know what else to say.
It
Like,
was very cute.
yeah,
Like
it played out how it was
several
going to.
times.
Yeah, it played out exactly how we thought it was going to. AJ Lee, made Becky submit to the Black Widow. It was a cool move. Yeah, I mean, I have no complaints about that. I would say easily the second best match of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last match of the night, Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. So, like, McIntyre throughout this story arc has said he's wanted to, quote, do this the right way. And he did, but he still lost to Cody. So, like, what now? Like, Drew McIntyre's current character is this angry dude who kicks wrestlers that have a bigger following than him through announce tables and teams up with dudes like Logan Paul to wrestle against Jelly Roll. It's not doing it for me, okay? I had to do a little research because I just feel like WWE Creative is still trying to figure out how to do something with Drew, but can't stick the landing. And now it makes sense because I found out he's supposedly contracted through 2027. So, yeah, I think they really are trying to figure out what to do because they know they're stuck with him for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can it's weird because he's got such a great physical presence. He's so
Yeah,
like intimidating, and I think that he really commits to whatever he's doing character-wise. I
yeah.
just think that it's just not the right
No, I
angle.
don't think like any of our complaints have ever been with the talent
Oh
itself.
my God, the
Right.
talent's great.
Yeah, and mainly I just wanted to say like overall like and it leads me into like basically my final thoughts about this PLE. It's like I didn't like it aside from like the Vicaire versus EO and the mixed tag match. Because I feel like a lot of these matches could have taken place on the TV shows. They sold us a PLE that was going to be on the level of WrestleMania, we were told. But I feel like this was barely a Saturday night's main event. We know at this point, like a corporation as big as TKO can do a lot to cover up their losses, and ticket sales aren't a great indicator of actual interest. So I don't think it's going to change any business plans, but I just hope we have some changes in creative because
Yeah.
I really am not trying to be that critical about the product. I think it's very
Yeah.
entertaining for the most part, but like even as somebody who has had spots of long-term wrestling like followings in my life, um this is not one of the better moments like I've
Mm.
experienced. So that's mainly where that's at. I know there's been times where the product's been better, and for me it's never necessarily been because it was the Attitude Era and like, shit was out of control. It's never been anything like that for me. I just think like legitimately on a quality level, it's been lower. So
Mhm.
I hope it gets better and they do more stuff and creative to like kind of
Yeah.
improve things. And that kind of also leads into like the Raw this past Monday in Evansville because we got another Raw that outshined the PLE that it
It was
followed.
great.
I mean, even though it was basically an extended commercial for Crown Jewel in Perth,
Hmm.
we kick off the show with Cody Rhodes cutting a promo about Crown Jewel. Seth Rollins interrupts him. They goes into a whole speech about like what Cody thinks of him and about like which of them is going to lead the WWE into the future. Cody tries to be cool and appeal to Seth's better nature, like talking about the contributions that help uh, Cody reach his peak since returning to the WWE. But Seth still seems to be too focused on who's going to lead and starts questioning Cody's honesty and praising him, kind of jumping to the conclusion that Cody either thinks Seth isn't good enough, or at least not as good as him.
Mm.
um, I don't know. I just thought this was a hilarious approach by Seth because Cody doesn't even need to try to justify this with an answer at all, like during the promo, and he just like comes back asking Seth to think about how many other matches he's won. Just to tell
Yeah.
everybody in, it's 0. So I think it's just a funny way of him to like poke the bear. I don't know. Let's see what else we got in promos and drama. We get a backstage moment with the Usos going over the loss at Wrestlepalooza, and they mentioned that Jay has a match against LA Knight later that night.
Hmm.
There's more drama between Dom and the Judgment Day
Love
because of
it.
his involvement with the Grande Americanos. Basically, Dom needed help finding somebody to take a match against Rusev. Uh, Finn Balor definitely wasn't going to do it, so JD McDonough ends up taking it, or actually ends up being volunteered because the Judgment Day ladies kind of step in and ask, like, say
Hmm.
that it's for the team or whatever. But it's hilarious because Dom had already like told Adam Pierce that JD was
Yeah.
gonna do the
I love
match.
Scumbag Dom. It's so funny.
Yeah. Oh man, we got more crazy Bailey drama.
Uh,
I absolutely hate this arc for her. Bailey's just acting like she has no memory of what craziness transpired backstage after Lyra's match last week, leading to Bailey asking Lyra to be in her corner for her match later that night against Roxanne Perez. What else? We get an in-ring appearance from our new Women's World Champion, Stephanie Vaquer.
mm.
She makes a speech thanking everyone, shouts out her dad in the crowd, and lets everybody know she'll keep making history. Adam Pearce is there, and basically also and follows up by just announcing that her upcoming title defense will be a crown jewel, and that whoever basically the who she'll be up against this will be determined by the SmackDown match between Tiffy, Nia, and Jade Cargill this coming Friday. We get a backstage moment between Rhea Ripley and Asuka. Another argument breaks out over Io Sky's loyalties, finally reaching a boiling point to a match between Rhea and Asuka to end the show. Jimmy runs into Cody backstage and asks him to have a talk with Jay, basically because dude hasn't been acting right. But I think our takeaway from this whole encounter is that after Cody speaks with Jay, that this is something that might end up just driving a wedge, even a larger wedge between the Usos. What else? As much as Nick Aldis as GM for SmackDown is the most patient person ever, I'm going to say Adam Pearce is probably the most helpful GM ever in Raw history as far as making things happen for his talent and giving them opportunities, because we get like a good back-to-back moment with Adam Pearce where he's talking to Maxine Dupree, first of all, and talking about different opportunities because Maxine, I guess, wants to take wrestling more seriously now. And then also we get a match set up for AJ Styles and Dragon Lee against two of the Grande Americanos. It's a pretty funny encounter. Yeah, because Adam Pearce basically is just pick two of them, I know there's three, but just pick any two, just figure out which ones you want. Or I think I think maybe Adam Pearce said he'll talk to them or something like that. I just thought that was kind of funny. So let's move on to the matches. New Day and Grayson Waller versus Penta and the War Raiders. It was good. I just think WWE probably checked and found their viewership numbers were kind of high for this match when they had it before, so they did it again. I don't know. I found it a bit more entertaining this time because the New Day and Penta's drama is a bit more fleshed out now. And
you're just waiting for that Mexican destroyer.
Yeah, we got another one, man. We got a good one. It's just basically, I don't even remember if the War Raiders really did anything that epic. I think it was more of a Penta highlight reel.
Yeah.
Because we ended, and he ended with that Mexican destroyer off the top rope, which is epic.
Grayson Waller really sells it.
I love Grayson Waller too.
He's really hilarious. Funny. Yeah, I'm enjoying him for sure.
He is totally in a white dude trying to make black friends energy 110%. He's just doing
really amusing pants in this episode.
Yeah, he's just doing whatever for these guys, trying to he's trying to cement his name as Big G.
Oh my god.
What else we got? Roxanne Perez with Raquel Rodriguez versus Bayley with Lyra Valkyria. Match wasn't bad, but it was overshadowed by an in-ring crazy Bayley moment near the end of the match where she rages out on Roxanne Perez and wins. The crazy point gets driven further when Lyra comes in to celebrate with Bayley, but she switches personalities again and pushes Lyra away.
I hate it. I hate it so much. It's so nuts that just this month, there's been so much awesome talk on WWE about mental health and stuff like that. You've got AJ Lee coming back and talking about it.
Yeah, and you're doing a crazy storyline. I think it's kind of tone deaf, to be honest. I don't know.
Tone deaf, and she's because the story doesn't seem true to her.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
To sell it,
I think that's the biggest thing for me, man. I feel my thing with pro wrestling is I get it, some of it's supposed to be controversial. I'm not going to shy away from it for that idea. I just feel when it doesn't seem natural or it's cheap and it's been done before, and especially when your messaging is moving in a different direction, I don't think it works. Like,
it could be okay, New Day, if they did a plot line like this, it would be hilarious because they would be so over the top. You would
because
know
they would
they're
add comedy
serious.
to it instead of
Yeah.
trying to make it serious. I feel like
Right.
Bailey's trying too much to like make this serious, and like it comes off as desperate. I think the WWE could do better than this.
Yeah, I wish
Because
they'd
they have
clarify it.
before, and it just doesn't make sense considering like all the other stuff that's going on in the company.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on, Rusev versus JD McDonough. I mean, I was kind of surprised. JD did a pretty good job against
Yeah.
Rusev, but unfortunately, I feel like this is going to be another match where it's overshadowed by the plot it was trying to push rather than the match itself. Like, Rusev makes JD tap out with the accolade, but doesn't let go afterwards. So, Finn comes out and helps JD. Like, Dom's like standing by and like hesitating, which doesn't make any sense to me because the match is over. Like, you're not even interfering in the outcome of the match.
I think it's just to show that he's a Weasley guy.
I guess,
That's
but it's
all
like,
I got
I don't
from it.
know.
But it
I
was
feel
weird 'cause
like,
he's just standing there.
yeah, like it doesn't count against
Yeah.
JD at this point if he steps in, But I guess he just doesn't want to get his ass kicked by Rusev, or potentially, have that happen. But anyway, yeah, I think we're getting pretty close to a split between Dom and the Judgment Day. I won't be too upset about it. I think like post Liv Morgan injury, outside of Dom, the rest of the group isn't necessarily like heelish.
That's true.
They're
They're
just
not-
like intense,
Yeah.
which is fine because that's WWE and like one of the.
You know what they make me think of is like the kids who sit behind the stairwell to eat lunch in high school.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm a badass, I'm separate, but they're not really like mean or anything.
Yeah. So I don't think I think they could be fine by themselves. So I'm not really like opposed to this. I think, especially now that it sounds like Liv may not be back for a while. Like there's really no reason to keep Dom in this faction. He's doing so much on the side, now it's like independently or like with like the El Grande Americanos. I think he's like becoming more of a big deal with like AAA. So I don't at all think would be a bad move on his part. Like
Yeah. And there was just a rumor that he might fight Cena before Cena's run is over.
That's
but I don't-
cool.
That would be awesome.
I think he's like really done a lot in his time in the WWE. So I just I don't have a problem. He's one of the people who I think really deserves the bump if he really wants to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Jey Uso versus LA Knight
Yeet!
versus Man, I love LA Knight.
I know, he's so good.
He cut a great backstage promo before the match, just reminding everyone that he and Jay don't really have beef, but basically just saying if Jay wants to start something, he'll finish it. Like, I love it. It was a solid match, but it ended in some hijinks because the Bronze approached the ring to distract LA Knight. That led to Jay taking the opportunity to spear and Uso splash LA Knight when he returned back into the ring. The match ends with things between the Usos up in the air because Jimmy runs in with a chair to help LA Knight, but like Jay just keeps walking away like off stage. So okay, whatever. And then we get Rhea Ripley versus Asuka with Kairi Sane to end the night. I love this match. It was great.
It was so good.
Yes. Rhea and Asuka both have this intensity that really lended well to the match. Like, each of them sold amazingly. And once again, this backs up my theory that the WWE women's division doesn't do a great job elevating the right talent sometimes. It's not the people who are holding the titles that are most interesting right now, or like the storylines that are most interesting. So, yeah, I think that's like a pretty commonly shared opinion among fans, at least for now. Anyway, I'm so glad this is finally the nail in the coffin for the whole Io being torn between the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea drama. We'll probably get Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea and Io now, with Io coming out at the end of this match to help out Rhea when she gets green misted by Asuka and as Kairi like join her beatdown of Rhea and stuff. So
And loved the reluctant kind of meetings, like where she's like, beat this person up," and she's like, "I
Yeah.
don't want to." Okay.
Yeah, and then
It
she
was
does
really
it.
funny, and the green mist stuff. Oh, that was so cool. I love it.
It was her first time seeing it, so I'm sure it was
Yeah,
like
it was so cool.
extra crazy. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, so that does it for wrestling. I
Yeah.
don't know what we have coming up. Let me see what we do have coming up for WWE events. I think it is Crown Jewel, right? That's on October 11th.
Cool.
And then let me see the next AEW event.
Hey, while you're doing that, I got an idea for these wrestlers.
Yeah.
They should do Halloween episodes where they wear costumes.
Oh yeah. Well, I think
That'd
some
be
of
so
them do.
great. Do that.
Yeah. Some of them might do like themed gear that like week or something like that. So, that might be cool. But yeah, I was gonna say also we have Wrestle Dream coming up for AEW on October 18th. So those are the two big events. But other than that, your usual shows. We got Raw and SmackDown, and then AEW Dynamite and Collision.
Dynamite.
Anyway,
Awesome.
that'll do it for this week.
Yeah, so thank you so much for listening. We'd love it if you're so moved to do so. If you would like and comment on this video, let us know if there's anything you think we should check out. And you can,
Yeah, make sure to follow us on all the socials.
yes, we got
TikTok,
the TikTok,
Instagram,
the
Facebook.
Instagram,
Yeah.
all the stuff.
All that stuff.
Yes, so thank you for another great week. Thank you, and have a great week of watching things.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week.
All right, bye.
Friendships touch. Movies and delights we'll share so much.
Let's enjoy this side.